everyone. Tony Winston here for Jazz Piano College. Going to cover This Nearly Was Mine by Rodgers and Hammerstein. And I have a great old songbook here, beautiful pictures. And, this was from the musical South Pacific, taken from a book called Tales of the South Pacific, written by this gentleman, James Michener. And I just finished reading this book that he wrote at the age of 85. He's famous for writing these big, long books, some fiction, some nonfiction. But he's really a man of the world. And I want to read a paragraph out of this book, but I'll save it for the end because I don't want to annoy or piss off half of my audience. So let's get right into the song. And I love Chick Corea's version, so I downloaded and paid for a transcription. So I'm not going to share it with you, but I will give you a link if you want to go purchase it yourself. And I think it was only $5, and it's 7 pages and very accurate, so I like that. And, I listened to it a bunch and figured out a bunch of stuff before I bought the transcription. So I was really happy to figure out a couple of chords that I've never used before that Chick Corea did. And before we get into the song, let me show you those chords. So the first one is that, this one I knew, and I use this a lot, but this is like a Berkeley College of Music chord, so listen to it. Okay. So let's talk about the Berkeley College of Music chord formulas. If you have a chord and the melody note is the root up there on top, suppose it's a C7th chord, the formula 1, 7, 3, 5, 1. If it's a minor chord, 1, 7, 3, 5, 1. If it's a major 7th chord, 1, 7, 3, 5, 1. And let's do it in E flat. And let's do it down here. Now, you hear dissonance in this chord, and it's here. It's one of the most awful sounding dissonances you can do, a minor ninth, right? Like that. But because it's so terrible sounding, it becomes one of the most beautiful dissonances you can put into a beautiful chord, and if you use it at the right time. So, Chick starts with it. All right. So. Now, I will share with you the arrangement that's in this book, so I'll scan it and put it down there in the description. And here's the original. Just walking up like that. Later on, it goes this way. All right, on the last go-round. But what I like really about Chick's version is that he starts with the verse, and the verse is the part of the song you really don't hear all that much. It also has the other chord I want to discuss, which is a minor 7 flat 5 with 3 extensions, some of which you may not be aware that you can do, but you can put a flat 9 with this chord. It doesn't sound very good there, but in the right spot it will. A 9th is more common. The 11th is common to use too. But then there's the flat 13. Is that the flat 13? And the 13. Now, in this particular chord, we're going to use the 9, the 11, and the flat 13, and put the root up here on top. And so it's a closed voicing. And you're thinking to yourself, that's not a very pretty chord, but listen to it here. He's in the verse here. All right, and then the chorus begins, and that's the part we're the most familiar with, and I'll go over that first, I guess. So it starts with that beautiful chord. So I've already showed you a few ways that you can reharmonize that. Then it's very much like Bill Evans' Waltz for Debbie. We've got thirds in the bass a lot, And, it's just a very kind of classical way of working through a nice chord progression. Another third in the bass, A flat with a third in the bass, fifth in the bass for the E flat chord. And then another third in the bass. And right here, I think Chick goes actually to this one, and then this one. But there's lots of ways to get through that. You can go and then just surprise everybody with that chord, and then resolve it. Then it goes through it again, and you can, once your fingers are familiar with the chords and you've messed around with it, you can be very flowing on this song. Now, in the bridge, he moves to a new key center of A flat, just up a fourth. Going up a fourth is always kind of an emotional feeling, and to do it without preparing it, like a lesser composer might do it this way. With an E flat seventh there, or a 2-5-1, to get there. But without any preparation, he just goes to the A flat, and even with the lyrics, it just makes a very strong emotional impact right there. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's a feeling of hope here, because I think this is kind of a downer of a song, to tell you the truth. But so coming out of the last part of the chorus, just go to that A flat. They start off with the third in the bass, and then they do this nice gospel chord here, and end up on the root. I did it the other way around. And then back to E flat. Once again, third on the bass. I'll put the third first here. And then we have a secondary dominant. We're in the key of E flat. So our two chords should be F minor, but let's make it F dominant instead. All right, and that will take us to our 5 chord, which is B flat. And here we want to do some jazz. We're going to make an 11th chord. It's right here in the arrangement too. It says F minor, but it's B flat down there on the bottom, melody note, A flat triad in the middle, B flat 11th, B flat sus, whatever you want to call it. Maybe a richer chord here, Too much for my taste, but. And then we go back through the verse again. I've been playing it every day for about a week, and I will do a performance of it in the next weeks or months or years or sometime. Let's go over this verse, which is just so gorgeous. It starts in G minor. Chick does it like this. So it's like, all right, that's a G minor, half diminished, but maybe it's E flat, because the next chord is that, which is D7th. That makes sense. Does it again. However, I believe Chick does something more like this, A minor 7th. And he just hints at it too. He'll just play like a couple of notes and you know what chord he's thinking, and you can hear the chord, but he doesn't actually play it. So he's really a genius when it comes to that kind of stuff. Here he does something brilliant. It's going to D, but he does two 11th chords here. He's got the E flat 11th or suspended, I hate having to use both those terms all the time, but pick the one you like. And here, the original's so beautiful. Just simple G major, that augmented, and then a big skip down to G major again. And I can't remember what happens there in the transcription, but I really like those 11th chords. Then Chick adds this little passing chord there. It's like a D7th chord, but tritone substitution. Back to G minor. Same melody, but different chords. And then we follow this chord progression. It's a G flat chord, but I still got this 5 in the bass because I like it like that. I like the chord symbol here, F7 with a 6th. Nowadays we would just call that a 13 chord, F13. And maybe I should use the G flat on the bass there. That sounds better, okay. And then I'm going to keep the 5th here. Kind of a neo-soul chord there where you just get as much into the chord as you can, and this is where that other chord comes in. So let me do it again. I've still got a lot of work to do before I really have a solid arrangement for myself to play, but I'm happy to share these resources with you, and so that you can work on your own arrangement. Or maybe you just want to learn some of Chick's arrangement, so I'll put the link down in the description where you could purchase that from, not from me, from somebody else. I don't even know who. And let me read the paragraph now out of the book. All right, so we've been having some banking troubles and some problems with the financial system lately here. What's today's date? March 25th, 2023. And he's talking about probably Ronald Reagan's idea of trickle-down economic theory. And he says, one of the sickest economic preachments has been the trickle-down theory. If you allow the very rich to make as much money as they can without governmental restraint, they will magnanimously allow some of their largesse to trickle down to the peasants below. Most advocates of the theory do not express it in those blunt terms, but I have found that that is exactly what they mean. I am not for across-the-board redistribution of wealth. And I know that rich people invest their money in enterprises that create employment. And I can cite a dozen other constructive uses of great wealth, but I still believe that society prospers most when there are laws to bring that wealth back into circulation, when there are taxes to provide social services that otherwise might not be available, when there is governmental surveillance to ensure proper business practices and prevent manipulation of financial markets, and when profits are plowed into research and the education of new generations. I think that's pretty nicely written, and I would encourage you all to read the book. It's a book you can just pick it up really and start anywhere and put it down again. You don't have to even read it in order. He just divides it up into a lot of topics that he has written about previously or experienced in his amazing life. So anyway, it's the best $4 I've spent up there at Half Price Books in quite a while, so encourage you all to read it if you get a chance. And also encourage you to hit that like button. Do it right now. And leave a comment. I'm always looking for suggestions for the channel, topics I can cover, a song I can cover, rock, jazz, country, blues, classical, doesn't matter. If I think I can, do a little something with it, I'll be happy to give it a try. Okay, take care, everyone. Thank you.